So we got some breaking news today, and this is a really important breaking news. In the stadium this week is going to be Swift and Kelce again. Man, what a performance by Swift and Kelce last week. But I ain't talking about the Swift and Kelce on the football field. I'm talking about the Swift and Kelce I really came here to hear about. I'm talking about Travis and I'm talking about Taylor. All week we had to keep hearing about this, and that's been the theme of the week. First off, Travis, what's going on with that mustache? I know Ted Lasso's popular and all, but I just ain't feeling that mustache. You got to get that together if you're going to hold on to a woman the caliber of Taylor Swift. This kind of reminds me of the time when Tony Romo was dating Jessica Simpson, and every week it was, oh my God, Romo didn't do good. Is it because of Jessica? Oh my God, they're on vacation. Is that going to distract them from the game? And I kind of wonder and foresee if that's going to be what's going to happen with Travis and this. Part of me, I think I did underestimate the popularity and fame of Taylor Swift. I'm not a fan of Taylor Swift myself, so I didn't realize like her just being there was gonna spike his jersey sales the way it did, make him a trending topic all week on every show. I'm watching The Breakfast Club, and he's a topic, and you have women calling in saying, I've never even heard of Travis Kelce until yesterday when they were talking with Taylor Swift. So I was kind of amazed by that. But please do us a favor, broadcast. I know y'all gonna show it all week, and Taylor's gonna be at the game with the Jets and Chiefs this week, and that's all fine and dandy. But if y'all are gonna make this all about them, can y'all please do a separate broadcast? Put them on ESPN2 and put the main game on ESPN, or I guess that's NBC, so put them on NBC Sports or some other separate channel. You can just have a Taylor cam, and you can just follow Taylor, and then the rest of us who can watch football, we can just watch football. So please just do that for us. For Travis's sake, for her sake, I always root for love, so I hope it works out. I can't say whether it will or it won't, but it will be a damn shame one day if the Chiefs go to the Super Bowl and Taylor's the Super Bowl halftime show and she's singing a diss track about Travis Kelce. A bit awkward, huh?
Yeah, buddy. We're back here again for a special episode of Cinco Squad. What's up, fellas? My name is Jonathan Sawyer. With me are my brothers, Mike DeSanto, Grandpa J, and TreyDay. Fellas, happy Thursday and happy week 4 of the NFL season. We had a little bit of a wager here this week. So I'll throw it over to Mr. TreyDay because him and Mike had a little wager between his Ohio State Buckeyes versus the Notre Dame Irish. Oh, wait, no. Wait, the other way around. Sorry.
Definitely. They get to be the. They don't get to be the.
So, Trey, what does Mike owe you?
Well, I already got it. I mean, Mike expedited, so I'm already sipping on my,
There you go.
Oh, you already got it?
Mike already expedited. So, I want to shout out Mike. I want to shout out one of my favorite Ohio State Buckeyes, Marcus Freeman, forever will be with us. That's why they play 10 men on the field, because he's always going to be a part of the Buckeyes.
Series, not one,
2 times in a row,
series.
because he's with us. He's not with y'all. Y'all just think he's with y'all. Still giving NIL money.
And we had another wager between Jamie and myself where we played each other in fantasy, and then my Eagles beat on his. I guess it's payback because you beat on me so badly this week in fantasy football that it was only right for my Eagles to beat on your Buccaneers. So.
Well, the Bucs also were riding a 4-game win streak against the Eagles, so it was due at this point. So.
Yes. The last time I was in that stadium, I watched Deshaun Jackson go for an 80-yard touchdown run. So yeah. I'm good. I'm good with that win.
So I know your guys' wager was visiting each other. So does that mean you guys have to meet in like Fort Myers now because you broke even?
I guess we just meet at John's parents or something like that.
Yeah, right. me and my parents halfway. Don't even tell them. Just show up like, hey, you guys following through with the wager. You guys lost the bet.
Like, can we just use your pool and your grill? Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, hopefully I don't get any fire ants like I did this
weekend. No, seriously.
Stay away from the big rocks.
Yes. But let's move it right into our favorite time of the show, which is what's on Mike's mind. Because we're always interested to see what he has for us this week. So, Mike, what is on your mind?
Well, what's on my mind this week, gentlemen, is I'm taking it to my first college football fact that I've provided you, which is that the largest attendance for a single college football game with the condition that it happened in a stadium, because I don't know if you guys remember the battle at Bristol where they had the game at Bristol Motor Speedway. Technically, that holds the record for largest crowd. But that was at a motor speedway, not a stadium. So the biggest crowd at a stadium was 115,109 fans for Michigan Notre Dame in Ann Arbor in 2013. But that's not all. Do you know what the second largest crowd for a college football stadium has been?
Penn State.
Tennessee.
No. It happens to have been 114,804 people in 2011 for Michigan Notre Dame in Ann Arbor.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Literally, when they had that series going, the two matchups in Ann Arbor, which is the largest college football stadium in the country, has both of the two largest stadium crowds in college football history. So that is what is on my mind.
You gotta put the best team in the biggest.
It's because Notre Dame was there. No, it's because Notre Dame was there.
No,
Well, then why can't you do it against anyone else?
Well, because we downsized. It wasn't fair to everybody else.
Well, the Catholics have to drink rum before they drink wine in church on Sunday. So
Exactly. Rum, bourbon, whiskey, vodka. Anything they can really find.
I gotta tell you, that college game day had me laughing so hard when Vince Vaughn did.
Oh yeah.
Bringing that old man out on the stage.
Oh yeah, what was up with the guy in the mask? Who was that? There was a guy asking a question. He was in a mask. And I was like,
watching.
Yeah, I just saw that. I didn't watch. I just saw the highlights of that interview from, him talking shit about Ohio State.
Probably was fighting that mask. Oh, I'm sorry.
Said where I tweeted from. You think if I was at that game, that there wouldn't be a ton of content from the game? Also, that I wouldn't have told everybody, including the three of you, that I was going to the game.
If you're gonna be the mascot, you have to be low key.
Yeah.
Unlike
Listen, if I was gonna be the mascot, you'd be able to tell it's a leprechaun.
Unless you're the Oregon Duck, and where you're trying to shit on the other team, and your head comes off.
Yeah. And now we all know who Duck is.
You know what I want to hear double of or triple of or any amount of? Jamie's locks of the week. Jay, take it away.
Bring it in, guys. Bring it in. We're coming off a perfect week last week, ladies and gentlemen. Just stick by our side, and we're going to pay that rent for you guys. I mean, we called it last week. I think I even called the score. I think I said 41-10 Kansas City, somewhere around there. They pulled off the huge victory. That game was over long before halftime. Got to feel sorry for the Bears right now and where they're going. And it was a nail-biter on the other end. Thanks to Clemson's 32-year-old kicker, Jonathan Whites, who missed the freaking chip shot, which sent the game into overtime, and FSU capitalized on that. We got you guys some money on Saturday, and then on Sunday, what the hell was Staley thinking going for it on pretty much his own 20, giving the Vikings the ball back for a chance to win the game? Luckily, his defense was the hero because, boy, would he have been a zero instead of punting the ball away and just letting Cousins and Jefferson try to do that thing to win the game from 80 yards. Not 20 yards, but thank goodness his defense came up with a play because that would have been the talk of the week. Maybe for Wilson's sake, he was hoping that would have happened, so some pressure would have been off his back and Staley would have been the villain of the week. But let's move on to this week, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get you guys some more money. Let's get Cinco Squad that gear that we need to open up our own studio. Of course, you got to share some of the winnings with us. It's just right, guys. So my absolute lock of the week. Last year, Bijan Robinson in Texas rolled up on Kansas, proving to them that they weren't ready to compete in the Big 12 yet. Well, no real superstars in Texas running the ball right now. We know they have one of the best quarterbacks in college football, but this Kansas defense is a lot different. They're holding opponents on 100 yards per game on the ground. They're getting 16.5 points. And I don't think Texas pulls away big in this one because I'm not convinced quite yet that Texas is ready to blow this Kansas Jayhawks team out. And who would have thought that when it comes to football? So I'm loving Kansas at 16.5. Give me those points all day long. Rock, chalk, Jayhawk. They're going to cover that spread this weekend. And then what we are hoping to be the game of the week if Colorado could have competed with Oregon, it kind of seems like nobody's talking about the Buffs anymore. But USC's defense has not really been anything special. And against an awful Arizona State team last week who they gave 28 points up to, we know they can score the ball. We know that Deion's son throwing the ball is going to do a lot better than Arizona State's offense can do. So points all day long, baby. This one's going to be fireworks galore. Patow, patow, patow. Touchdown after touchdown. For some reason, it's only at 74.5. It should be at 85 because they're going to score 90 this week. So take the over in the Colorado USC game. And finally, I got to go into New Orleans. The Bucks are rolling in. You guys know what time it is. It's Marshawn Lattimore versus Mike Evans. It's not even Bucks Saints. We know what happens when those two get on the field. I'm expecting some bows. I'm expecting something to happen at some point in the field. Hopefully Mike Evans doesn't get ejected from this one. but they're going to lock him up. That means the field shrinks. Baker is going to be Baker. He's going to turn the ball over. And the Saints have held 11 games in a row now in the regular season. They've held opponents to under 20 points. I don't see either team getting to 20. This one's at 40.5. Take the under, and that's how you win yourself a ton of money this weekend. We got Kansas at 16.5. You got to take the over in the Colorado USC game at 74.5 and take the under in the Bucs Saints game at 40.5. Put it in the bank, ladies and gentlemen. You can thank me next time you see me by paying me some money.
All right, so as a resident Eagles fan here, I am getting sick and tired of hearing about how the tush push is illegal, how Lane Johnson jumps too early is legal. Everything they're doing is legal. They're not doing anything wrong. For years, we used to watch Tom Brady sneak in on the goal line in New England all the time. But no one's ever said anything about that. Just because we're doing it at 92% of the time, shout out to New Heights, people have a problem with it. You know what? Then stop it. We have the best offensive line in the league for a reason. Stop it then. That's all I got to say. Stop it. And then, you know what? It won't be illegal. The other thing is, I understand on Monday night, Lane Johnson's last jump was a little too early, but offensive tackles have been jumping all the time for years and years and years. There is nothing wrong with what he is doing because every team's tackles do it. You're actually taught to do that because the guys are getting so much more explosive nowadays on the defensive end that they're coming off the line. So yeah, the tackles do need a little bit of advantage, and most of them are not even that good. So they're getting beat anyways, even though they're jumping early. So cut the bullshit. Stop it. Stop hating on the success of the Eagles and their 92% of their tush push. And let them be whatever, because, man, I'm tired of it. Because, you know, we're going to keep doing it and doing it and doing it. And, you know, we're going to keep getting first down until you stop it. Go Birds! All right, that's Jake's locks of the week. Lock those in. I know one thing that we want to lock in here this week is how long should a college coach have to turn around a college program? Because Dion is saying, everyone, relax, we got some time. But how long should a college coach take to turn around a college program? Trey, I'm going to throw it over to you because I know you're very passionate about this topic. So how long should it take?
So it's a bit of a loaded topic because this scenario could very depend on the program you're referring to. I think if you're looking at, let's say, like an Alabama or Ohio State, one of those type of top-tier programs, you're going to have a shorter lease. I'm giving you about 3 years in that case. 3 years to me for a program of those caliber, it's enough time, especially in today's world with the transfer portal, because you've seen how Dion was able to come out and get these people to go to Colorado that quick. So if you have like a new coach and he's new coach of the Ohio State Buckeyes, you damn right he's able to go in the transfer portal and be able to flip over the team and start to, you know, get more players in. Same when you look at like a school like a Texas A&M where they have these huge endowment and these crazy donors out there. They'll get the NIL money, so your lease is shorter. So in a program like that, I'm going to say 3 years. Now, if you're in, let's say, like a mid-level program, let's say something like a Kansas, even let's say like a MAC school or something like that, in that case, I'm going to give you about 5 years. That gives you a whole time to get through a complete class. So now you basically got rid of the old, the people you didn't want. You get your freshmen through, and even some of your red shirts out to the end of their time. So at that point, you should be trending up. You should be going the right way. So it's like I said, it's loaded, but 3 to 5. 3 on the really good programs, 5 on your more average programs like a Colorado or something. Jay, how you feeling on this?
I kind of like your range there. I can see what you're saying, where a coach should have the opportunity to recruit their freshmen or get their class in and see what he could do with his coaching staff, or maybe add some coaches in that time and space there if he's realizing the guy he brought in can't really coach him up at the level he's at if he's leveled up to a different school. Most of the time on the defensive side of the ball, because now you're facing a lot better players on the offensive side of the ball from that standpoint. But for me, that number really sits at about 6. And here's why I say 6. Is because I think a lot of times you're going to hit or miss with your early recruits. And then because the transfer portal is so wide open for you to go ahead and get who you missed in the following year, I kind of just let the 2 years roll over. And then from that point say, okay, let me give said individual these next 4 years to really prove if they can compete. Now, the only thing for me that cuts it short is something of tremendous character defamation to you or to the program that jeopardizes your character as an individual to lead the program. And that's when it's just an automatic, we're cutting it off, like we're seeing what's happening up in Michigan State. Right now, we know it's still necessary, that it's still yet to be proven. So I'm not going to mention names and say necessarily that this has happened. But other than something detrimental happening, I really feel like a lot of ADs should bring somebody in and say, look, apart from something dreadful happening, and if you really can't just get things moving off the ground and attract the kind of players to the school, you got a 6-year window. After that, we'll evaluate to see if we extend for 4 years, if this is where you and your family want to be for 10 years. Because I think that sort of makes a man feel good about the fact that I know I could root my family here for X amount of time. And in that 6-year span, if your kids are near their high school ages, they could finish high school in one place. There's less bouncing around. I feel like a lot of times we undermine the coach wanting to give his family a bit of a settled lifestyle. I know some people like Lane Kiffin are opportunity getters and go get it. Like, let's go. We're hopping and the family's with it. If you're not that kind of person, then I would love to be with a program that gives me that 6. Mikey, what do you think?
Yeah, so I think when I was thinking about it in my head, about 4 was where my head was at. So that it is within that range. I think that 3 to 5 year range, like Trey said, is a good one. But I would argue it does depend on the programs, and I would argue that your upper echelon programs, your Alabamas, your Ohio States, your Michigans, to a certain extent recently, your Clemsons, Florida States, LSU, all those types of schools, I would almost argue that in some cases, for them, it would be 2. Because if Jay, I hear what you're saying as far as, the coach wanting to give a stable life to his family and wanting to plant roots and things like that, unless they're Lane Kiffin type. But at the end of the day, if I'm an AD, if I'm a chancellor, president, provost, whoever it is that I'm in charge of this school, this is business. And at those schools, football is our business. So we got to go. Like, I can't sit outside the top 25 for longer than a full season. If it's a full season outside the top 25, we got major problems. And at that point, if you can't use your Alabama, Ohio State major program names to bring in transfers, bring in recruits, and rebuild this roster, then clearly you weren't the right hire to begin with, because I need somebody that can do that right off the bat. So I personally would want about a 4-year window, but I could definitely see the sense in it being as short as 2 for some of your major programs.
Mike,
John, what do you think?
Real quick for you. Okay, so you root for one of those type of programs. Marcus Freeman is now at year 2.
Yeah.
What would happen? What would have to happen this year for you to be like, all right, this is done, the Freeman experiment, let's move on?
So, and I figured you may ask. Notre Dame is one of those like upper echelon in name programs. The thing is, and this is from not just as a fan perspective, but kind of an outside perspective of what I've noticed about the program. They're uncommonly patient when it comes to, and the fan base is uncommonly patient compared to some of your other big name programs. So for me, I've already as a fan bought into Marcus Freeman and what he's doing. Also, for me, the abrupt leaving of Brian Kelly, we could say like it was a year and a half, a little over 2 years ago now, kind of made it a little different, where Freeman didn't really have time to fully start recruiting in his own way, and his guys, his coaching staff, and now he had a turnover of coordinators. So there are certain circumstances that make this kind of a unique situation for Freeman. I would say if we stay in the top 25 this year, I'd like to be in the top 10, top 5, because I think they're that talented of a program. But I think it is for me that year 4. If we're not competing for the playoff or competing in the playoff in year 4, that's when I'll start having a problem.
You damn well better be top 12 by then.
Well, that's all
I would hope so.
Because now you're going up to 12 teams, so that has to change the standard of right now.
I think the standard changes, though. You better get out the first round. Like, if you're Notre Dame,
exactly. That's why I say compete in the playoff.
Yeah.
So with my take about this is, the fact is, my first thought was the first year. I think the first year is the biggest year for your coach. But I think it all depends on the name of the coach. So anybody, when Nick Saban retires, taking over that program is going to be a tall task. It don't matter. It doesn't matter if it's Alabama. I play that into a factor that it's Alabama and the high standards, but I think Nick Saban has been a big factor, just like Coach K at Duke and Jim Boeheim at Syracuse and Roy Williams at North Carolina. Like those guys have those like name recognitions, right? So if Nick Saban retires next year, and let's just say one of his assistants takes over, I don't know his assistants, but you got to give that guy a few to get his lumps right in. But it goes back to also to what I was talking about with the coordinators, right? A lot of these older coaches are not going on the recruiting trips. So a lot of the coordinators are a lot of doing the job. So the kids are coming to the school because of the coordinator. So you could all see that. So my thought on this is about 3 years, like Trey said. I give you 3 years at these big programs. At the mid-level, like I call Clemson and Florida State mid-level at this point because I don't think they've really competed over the last 5 years. I call them 5 years. So if the Dabo leaves, you got to make a precedent in at Clemson. So I would say 3 years is a good time frame, especially with this transfer portal, man. Like they're transferring every single year, trying to get these recruits from other programs. They already got college experience. By year 3, you should ultimately be in a contention for the playoff. And like you guys were just going to get into, the 12-team playoff, I think, is going to save a lot of jobs. Because what's going to happen is the coaches are going to be like, look, I made the playoff 4 years in a row. But now it's going to come down to you made the playoff 4 years in a row at the 12th seed and got your ass kicked. So here's the thing for Marcus Freeman at Notre Dame. The way he keeps his job is he makes the playoff and competes. Because the last time any Charlie Weiss, Brian Kelly, anytime they made the playoff or national championship game, they got their ass kicked. So the biggest thing that he has to do is compete in the playoff. So if they make it this year, I want to see a competitive game. I don't want to see 49-0 or 56-10. Like I want to see some competitive games, and I think that will ultimately hold his ground for the next 3 years. Now you go in and get your ass kicked, So Harbaugh, in my opinion, saved his job with being Ohio State. But him getting his ass kicked in the playoff, when I was at that game, there was a lot of people like, we need to get rid of him. That's embarrassing. We shouldn't have came out like that. But I explained to them, they put all their effort into that Ohio State game. They put everything into that game. Not saying that they should or anything, but you got to give your coaches some times. But I think this 12-team playoff is going to hinder a lot of coaches, like kind of push them along. Be like, okay, you made the playoff as a 10. Oh, okay, you made it 1 year as a 3. Okay, you made it 12 the next 4 times. It's like, so right. Trey, what were you saying about the 12?
Let me throw something out to you guys real quick, though, right? So Saban's shoes might be the biggest to fill maybe in college football history, right? Because he may go down as the most successful coach in college football history. So if that's the case, and Deion has a lot of success in year 2 or 3 at Colorado, is Deion's personality big enough to replace Saban and bring the type of people in? Is he the only person, though, when you think of any other coach that could do that just because how big his personality is? Can you think of anybody else that could fill those shoes like that?
Not the success rate that's a success rate that he's had at a school like Colorado. Like if he can recruit to Colorado, he can recruit to Alabama.
Right.
And ultimately, he's already said he doesn't want to coach in the league. He wants to coach college. My thing with Deion, how much longer after his kids leave does he want to coach? Was this just a ploy to just get closer with his sons and his daughter, because his daughter goes to Colorado now, to be closer to them and coach? I've heard rumors about that. He just wants to be there for that and get the program up to a height, right? So I can see he being the only candidate right now, other than one of his coordinators that left, like Lane Kiffin or Sarkisian. But Sarkisian got that Texas program rolling
back in Texas,
and then Kirby Smart got Georgia rolling. So why would he leave there? So it's like, well, will Muschamp go? Those type of guys. So there is Saban, prodigy. Trey, what were you gonna say?
No, well, honestly, with Deion, I think he'll continue to coach. I just don't think he'll stay at Colorado after the kids. I think the day they leave is the day he leaves. I don't think he's going to keep transferring his kid every year. I think after that point, it'll be open game. And honestly, I can see where I do think Deion's going to land. I'll throw this out there since we're just in the middle of this. Is actually Texas A&M. Jimbo Fisher is on fire ass seat. If you
Done.
imagine Deion at Texas A&M with that type of money behind him, and with Texas recruiting, with those type of recruits he can do what he can do there. So actually, that
He'd be
is
comfortable with that cowboy hat on Texas A&M.
You know what's
that is actually where Deion's going to show up at in about the season after next.
You know what's weird is the fact that a lot of these coaches, you would think they were getting a decade to turn these programs around because they're getting. I don't know about you, but they're getting 10-year contracts left and right. So you would think they have 10 years, but do they really have that 10 years? Out of those 10 years, you guys think they have those 10 years? Because, I mean, Jimbo's time is coming up. Unfortunately, I think the job is pretty much solidified there in Florida State.
I was going to say,
he would have probably, if that guy had another 2 or 3 seasons that were bad, I think that's where Deion would go at that point.
Yeah, that would have been a choice.
Florida State.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, Florida State's doing really well at a high level. And
Deion, a lot of people say that Deion, his relationship with them has been a little bit fractured. So the other thing I always wondered is, would he say, "Okay, I'm not doing this with y'all. I'm going to Miami or I'm going to Florida," which are open to spite y'all on a revenge trip. Because you can play the alumni thing all you want, but they didn't. He tried to go there. They didn't want to mess with him like that. And there's been a lot of reports about that fracture.
Yeah,
and he's still from the state of Florida. Has roots there, so it wouldn't be crazy for him to show up to one of them and say, "All right, now I'm gonna stick it to you." Because people think about it and say, "Well, he's an alumni there." Yeah, and Bo Schembechler used to coach at Ohio State, and then he said, "I don't give a damn about what he hates someone left." And sometimes that's how great rivalries happen. If somebody has to leave the nest and come back to be down the nest.
How much longer do you think Saban's got? Realistically,
2. Yeah, okay. James said that's in 2 years.
It looks. He's
at
been
most 3.
I've been watching a lot of the Pat McAfee show and like watching him come on there. He just kind of looks worn. He looks tired. He just looks like he's
about done.
Yeah, like get one more national title in him if they got the team for it.
With this quarterback, they gotta get somebody in the transfer portal next year.
But I think if they get someone and they get a title, I think that'll be like the hurrah. Like, okay, we're done.
Yeah.
But we'll see like someone starting to take control. You'll start to hear that rumbling of that guy. I think it's more or less like one of those coaches I mentioned earlier where he's going to have him as a prodigy. Like, here, we're going to give the reins to you. This was here's the key to the Mercedes. There you go. Take it and drive.
I mean, I think he could, but the thing is, I think don't be shocked if Alabama just falls off a cliff. People got to remember between Barrett Bryant and him, it was a lot of shit years for Alabama, especially now that Kirby's turned Georgia around. Georgia, if we're going to be honest, is a more appealing play. When they can still recruit in Alabama. They can go recruit in Atlanta, which is a big metro area. So like that is a very hard uphill battle. I don't know how long Saban's going to want to chase that. I think Alabama's going to go back to Alabama of the mid '90s actually after he leaves.
Really?
No matter who is up there, because I think a lot of us forget that Alabama was. When we were all growing up, Alabama was not this place that everybody was going.
It was Tennessee.
Florida State, Miami.
And Tennessee.
Florida State, Miami. You had Tennessee. It was a lot of these other programs.
Tennessee was dominant. I remember Tennessee.
Texas.
USC in the early 2000s, but
Tuscaloosa, Alabama, and it's no shit in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, but I got family in Tuscaloosa. I've been in Tuscaloosa over 10 times in my life. It ain't squat in there, but the University of Alabama. That ain't the easiest place. The reason Alabama's recruiting works right now is because they win. They put people in the NFL because of Saban. It's not like you're selling the campus. Like you look at one of the best inherent advantages that Pete Carroll has that is always when he was at USC because he was doing the whole Sunshine thing. They still have it right now. They're in LA. That is a fun place to go recruit people to be like, come out. You're in Hollywood. You may get to go out, date a model on the side, get an NIL deal.
Live and die in LA. The place to be.
Yeah, but that was the crazy part too, right? Like those years with USC, those crazy parts with USC was they could never get a coach. Like Sarkisian was dealing with his, alcohol abuse, and then Lane Kiffin was. I think they left him at the airport. So like they could never figure out the coach. I think the coaches got too comfortable in that lifestyle where Pete Carroll was perfect. He was in his late 60s. He was like, all right, I did all my partying, so I'm cool with this. Like, so
bro, and the pranks he used to play on them, like he is such a big kid too, man. He created a culture that was addictive. Yeah,
he still is. You heard about the Dan Campbell thing? Dan Campbell was like. I don't know if it was real or not, but it was like Dan Campbell's like, let's go one-on-one, Pete. Let's go. Like in the last game they had against each other. I don't know if it was real, but I was like, I hope this wasn't real because Dan Campbell's like a monster of a person.
I feel like this needs to be said because I'm really sick and tired of hearing about it. Can we just lay off Zach Wilson for 5 seconds? No, he's not Aaron Rodgers. We get that. But Joe Namath, you don't got to go on the Michael Kay show and say nothing but shit about Zach Wilson. He's got 2 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. He has not been the quarterback they wanted. But guess what? It's the quarterback they've got. They've decided that that's what they want. They just signed Trevor Siemian. Colin Kaepernick wants to join the practice squad to get them ready. But they've decided on Zach Wilson. If the Jets are going to go down, just let them. Stop talking about how bad Zach Wilson is and how much he's the problem when I think he's not the only problem they have. And just let him play some goddamn football. Seriously.
No, but, hey, I tell you what, speaking of what's not real, might be a good time for us to talk about video game records that may never be broken in sports.
Yes. Let's get into that. So I'm interested to hear what you guys had to say because I was looking up some and I was like, damn, like what the hell? So Mike, what record is astonishing to you that won't ever
clarify single game record?
Single game record.
Yeah, single game records. Just to
Single
clarify.
game record. Yeah, because I mean, I did some research too. I was like, let me see some of these like wild ones that I might not know about. And I found one in particular that was a single game one. There's a ton of crazy career ones that will never be broken.
Mm-hmm.
But one single game one that is incredible. Speaking of college football, on October 7th of 1916, Georgia Tech defeated Cumberland University 222-0. I don't think anyone will ever either win by pick your poison with that one. The margin of victory or the amount of points scored by a single team. No shot anyone ever does that.
What's the math on that? I mean, that's 30 touchdowns plus. That's
Also,
31 touchdowns.
It's 1916, Jay. Guess what? There's no forward
There's
pass
no throwing.
then.
That's what I'm saying. So, like, if they had 31 possessions, that to happen on the first handoff every time. It's like he's gone to the house every time.
I was going to say, yeah. So
it must have been the most boring broadcast of radio.
You have to think on some of the kickoffs, right? On some of the kickoffs, they have to fumble the bag a whole bunch too. Like they probably hit the returner so hard he fumbled it a bunch.
Yeah, fumble, pick up, score. There had to be some defensive touchdowns.
Oh, by the way, guess who was coaching Georgia Tech at the time? Here's another fact from Mike's mind. John Heisman.
Wow.
Of the Heisman Trophy.
Nice.
Yeah, so I don't see that ever being broken ever.
Yeah, no, I mean, I can't see a team because nowadays you have everyone talking about like, oh, you can't run the score up. Like, look at Mike McDaniel. He could have broke the record last week. And that's where it stemmed from, everyone. We're talking about that because Mike McDaniel decided to take a knee inside the red zone and not kick the field goal to break the record.
Field goal broke that record.
Yeah, who cares? They're already embarrassed. That's what I didn't understand about that at all because, like, you already put up 50 plus on them. What's the difference of 3 points? Oh, because
it was nice of him, but at the same time, the reason I'm breaking that record, say Mike McDaniels just flames out. I think he's a good coach, so I don't think it's be true. At the end of the day, plenty of people can say I won a Super Bowl, but nobody can say I have the record for most points scored. That alone would always get him at least the next job. If he sucked right now, he's going to go in an interview, and somebody's going to be like, "Well, he did put the most points. We at least know he's
got to do something, right?"
Yeah. So like that alone is worth just standing there.
I can't imagine if he was still the offensive coordinator at San Francisco with that team.
Oh my God!
I cannot imagine that team would be a freaking juggernaut, bro.
Yeah, that would have been nuts. I mean. Imagine if he was like in any of these teams that he was with, like, the Washington. Wasn't he with Washington at one point or no?
Possibly.
I think he may have been an assistant in Washington.
With like
he wasn't a coordinator.
Robert Griffin years, like that was crazy. But he was young. I mean, he's only 35 years old right now.
Yeah,
so he's really young.
Prodigy.
So,
yeah,
Mike, what do you want next?
Yeah, so Trey, what record do you have?
So I'm going to take this to the hardwood because, of course, that's my thing. So, of course, I'm going to take this to the hardwood. But in 1960, November 24th, 1960, there was a game between the Warriors and the Celtics. And Wilt Chamberlain actually had an amazing record. It's not the 100-point game. A lot of people think the 100-point game is unbreakable. I think the 100-point game will be broken. I think in our lifetime. Part of the reason why the 3-point alone can make it possible. Just as a side note, when Kobe scored 81 points in that game, he only made 7 threes. So Steph Curry
in the fourth.
Right. And most of this happened. So most of this was really in the second half. Kobe only had 26 points in the first half. He only made 7 threes. So you figure on the right night, Steph Curry, somebody get hot. But the record that he broke on that particular night that I just can't see getting broken is Wilt had 55 rebounds in one game.
Yeah, no way.
See how somebody's going to get to that point. Like, you literally, that means you're grabbing every board. So I took down a couple of notes that I was just kind of curious to, like, comparing now to then, because the pace of the game was faster and they took a lot more shots, which is why the 55 rebounds happened. But in the first half, Wilt had 31 rebounds. Second half, he had 34. But in that game, the two teams combined for 237 total shots. So it would take a lot of shots to get there. The last year in the NBA, the Spurs and the Thunder were the top two shots per game teams, both averaging 92, which gives them a total of 184. So that's 53 less shots that those two were playing on the right night. And that's saying that that's just shots, not shots missed. So that means they have to miss it. Every time they miss it, you're grabbing that board, which is crazy. Other crazy fact about that game of wood is he was playing against Bill Russell when he was doing that 55 rebound game. So it's not like it was just some stiff who he was getting these boards over. So that was amazing. But since 1973, the closest person to come to Wilt would have been Moses Malone, who had 37 rebounds in the game.
40,
yeah, that's the closest one since then. Since the year 2000, we've only had 4 people get over 30 rebounds. Kevin Love had a game with 31 rebounds. That's the only person to even get to 31. So, like, that record of rebounds, absolutely not getting touched at any point.
No chance.
And the crazy part is, back when Wilt was doing it, there was no shot clock.
No shot clock. Dudes aren't shooting threes. Everybody's at the paint, and everybody's all fighting at the paint because nobody spread out. The floor isn't even spread back then. Not like now,
Right?
Where it's like, oh, I got my center down here and 3 people spread out. Wilt is down here with everybody, including the great Bill Russell, boarding him up. Like, that's crazy.
That's
The other thing that's going to stop people now moving forward, unless the game completely changes again, is the fact that you've got a bunch of guards in the league now that grab 8 to 10 rebounds a night.
True.
So it's not even just big men, like the big men fighting for boards anymore. You're competing with everybody on the court, including your own guards.
Yeah.
Yeah, very true.
So,
Jay, you or me?
I'll stick to the hardware with Trey because I don't know if you went to the hardware. So sticking to that theme. I was looking at Little Grinnell College out of Iowa, Division III school, and I looked at their team record of 88 3-point attempts in one game. And they made 42 of them. And I was like,
I remember this.
I don't know if anybody's ever going to tell that guy jack everything up. So I was like, that's impressive. But then I scrolled down and saw in 2012, described here, when the same program force-fed Jack Taylor.
Yep, I remember this.
Out of the NCAA single game record of 138 points. Now, the 138 points is amazing, but he made 27 threes on 71 attempts. 71 attempts in one game. It's like, are you freaking kidding me? So the points is amazing, but I can never, ever, ever see anybody having 70 plus attempts in a single game in any basketball, whether it be high school, NCAA, or pro. That's ridiculous.
I would have still passed that to the ball and be like, you ball hog, I'm not passing you the ball. I've been waiting.
Well, that's the thing.
They planned for that. They just planned it. I would have just double teamed him the whole time in the second half.
Right.
Well, that's the thing. He didn't. He was the only one on the court. Everyone else was on the bench, so that he was 1 versus 5.
Sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm everything.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah. Well, I'm going to take mine to the gridiron and take us all the way back to the 1950 season opener, and it was the Chicago Cardinals against my Philadelphia Eagles, where Jim Hardy threw 8 interceptions in one game. And you would think that'd be broken by Ryan Leaf or Jamarcus Russell, but it wasn't. Mayfield. As we speak about Zach Wilson throwing interception, he's not that bad. But the next week, Hardy went and threw 6 touchdown passes in a 55-13 win over the Baltimore Colts, which is crazy.
Turn it around.
8 interceptions to 6 touchdown passes. So I don't think that will. I don't think it will get broken. because I think by that time they'll pull the backup in.
They'll pull you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no one will be allowed
will.
to stay in.
They'll be allowed to stay in. It's just like I think back.
I don't
then
care
they
who
only had
you
one
are.
The
quarterback.
closest to come to it will be Jameis when he comes in for a car at some point in a couple games this year. He'll
Yeah.
put it forward.
He playing this week probably. Carr's probably out.
Yeah, he messed his shoulder up bad. So
Yeah.
So do you guys
Yeah.
think that so Trey, I want to ask you about the 100-point, and this will be the last thought on this, but you think someone will break it? You don't think they'll pull them after a certain amount? I mean,
no. I think they'll let them play still. And then also you got to look at depending on how the game flow goes. What a lot of people don't realize in that Kobe 81-point game, the Lakers were losing at halftime when Kobe only had 26 points. He actually shot them back into the game to win. So if you get that right night, yeah, they may leave you out there. And I just don't, even for the fans' sake and the flack that the coaches would get, I think they would just let you in there because that's the type of stuff for you to ruin a relationship. You out here about to set the record, and then all of a sudden your coach like, no, I'll pull out. Not happening.
yeah.
I feel there's only 2 players in the league right now, maybe 3 that can do it, and that's Steph, Dame, and D-Book. I think those 3 can catch enough fire and score in bundles real quick where they can have like a 30 to 35-point quarter.
Well, the crazy part with that is they get to 50 really quick, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of times they get taken out in the halfway through the third quarter, and they're at like 55 points, and it's like a lot of times they're getting taken out. That's why. But
it depends on the game though. When Mitchell had 7 this year, the Cavs were in a close game, so he had to stay in the game.
Yeah.
And he had like a secret 70 because like that was not really talked about.
Because something else happened in the media.
It was DeMar Hamlin that night. DeMar Hamlin.
That's
DeMar Hamlin was that night.
DeMar Hamlin
that's
happened at
right.
the exact same time because I was actually watching both, and I was like, "Oh shoot!" at the same time. So yeah, that happened that night. When Book did it, when he put up his 78, lost, so he stayed in the game because they were still losing. So I do think the right circumstance that you can get, and then not to mention you get an OT game or something.
Book had 70.
Yeah, get a little extra time.
I can't. It was 70 something. He had.
Yeah, it was high.
They were playing the Celtics. This maybe
I thought he put up 80. Did he put up 80?
No, he put up 70 something.
He put up 70?
Yeah.
Nobody's gotten that close.
Only Kobe hit 80. I think nobody else is in.
But
80.
we've seen 270s. I mean, we saw Luka go up there and put like a 60 or whatever last year. Like we're seeing more and more dudes getting up. I mean, you got big men now to shoot 3. So I just think on the right night, I think we will live to see that record get broken. Actually,
nice. So, ladies and gentlemen, you know me and my Rocket Sports. So I'm kind of like scrolling the other day and I see something come up and it says Major League Table Tennis. And I'm like, what is this? Well, known as the MLTT, an entrepreneur who had a passion for table tennis decided, how come there are no Major League Table Tennis or pro tennis leagues in America? So he's like, you know what? I'm going to start my own Major League Table Tennis. And he had served on, I think, one of the boards or something like that for table tennis in America. And right now, it kicked off in September, and there are 8 teams in 2 divisions. There's an East Division and a West Division. So you got Florida, Princeton, you got Carolina and Chicago in the East. And then in the West, you got the Bay Area, Texas, Seattle, and Portland. Still think the Portland Paddlers might be my favorite logo here, but it is now on American shores. They have pros from all over the world that have come in to make these teams up. Obviously, they're going back and forth between home and aways, and it kicked off right up the road here in Florida and Daytona. And despite the fact that pickleball is the fastest growing sport in America, globally, the biggest racket sport is actually table tennis. So little do you guys know, I used to be a major table tennis aficionado when I was a young kid. I've always loved the idea of playing table tennis. So I might go catch myself a Major League Table Tennis game when the Florida Crocs host one of these teams here. Hopefully it's closer than Daytona, but if I got to drive up there, I might just go ahead and make it a twofer and go surf on the East Coast if they have any waves. But coming to a city near you, Major League Table Tennis. If you guys are about it, let us know. And if you go to an event, make sure you tag us in it.
All right, fellas, we have a special guest on here tonight from my local hometown in Syracuse, New York. Played for my rival high school in CNS. 9-year NFL career with the Oakland Raiders, the Kansas City Chiefs, and the Arizona Cardinals. Played at UConn. Has the longest return yards for 99 yards. Please welcome TreyDay Branch. TreyDay, welcome to the show, brother.
What's going on, brother? What's going on? How y'all doing, man?
Great. Appreciate you being on here, man. Always love to see someone from Syracuse do well. and go to the league and everything. I remember seeing you in high school. I was like, damn, this dude's gonna be cold.
Oh man, appreciate that.
So, you do a lot of work in our hometown with the community. Can you speak on that a little bit? And I see you do clinics every single year, and you're always giving back, and I love seeing that. So, can you speak on that a little bit?
Oh yeah, man. We got a good team out there in Syracuse, man. Mike Poyer, he's an intricate part of what we do out there. He pretty much runs everything. We've been teaming up with Eric Devendorf a lot lately. Our foundations, and then my mom. Big shout out to my mom. She runs the coat drive for us every year. We're trying to get it back going this year. We stopped during COVID, but we're trying to get it back going this year, depending on how she feels. She's a little under the weather right now. But yeah, man, we got a lot of good stuff that we cook up out there, man. Me, Latavius Murray, Jolon Dunbar, Mike Hart. We teamed up a while ago. We started the camp we run every year. So we got a lot of good stuff up there, man.
You missed the cold at all?
Sorry?
You missed the cold at all?
Not even a little bit, man.
Man. I moved
That
to Florida right after college, and I was like, I'm not going back.
I was down in Florida for a minute, man. I still got a house down there. I love it down
you
there.
Oh, nice.
Whereabouts?
Boynton Beach.
Okay.
Up by Delray Beach and all that stuff.
Yeah, I'm in Miami. I'm over in Kendall area.
Oh, nice. Oh, yeah, it's nice down there.
Yeah, it's real nice.
Growing up in Syracuse, it's two major New York cities over, but it's still kind of Bills country. So I kind of wanted to know, growing up, were you a Bills fan, and what was your experiences of growing up in Bills country, whether you were a fan or not?
Man, you want to hear something crazy? I grew up a Cowboys fan. My older brother
No
was
way.
a huge Cowboys. Yeah.
Yeah.
My older brother was a huge Cowboys fan, and he always made me watch them, and that's kind of who I grew up rooting for. But
Okay.
I'm always home team, man. So if the Bills doing well, I always feel good about that.
So yeah, actually, to piggyback off of Mike's question, I always wondered, with you being a Cowboys fan, how did it feel the first time when you had to play the Cowboys? You're like, man, I dreamed of playing on this team, not at the opposite.
Man, I know it's crazy, man, because you kind of root for them still a little bit, But the longer I played, though, the less I rooted for them, and then now I don't even root for teams anymore. I just root for the guys I know and hope that they do well. But it is a crazy experience. Like the first time you step in there, I don't know if you've ever been to the Cowboys Stadium, but it is amazing. First of all, and then the atmosphere, the crowd, it was a dope experience for sure.
Got you.
All right, so at some point, I guess in your life, there had to be the idea of, I don't know if you ever played two ways, but was there a point in your life when you knew for sure you wanted to knock heads off and not be on the offensive side of the football, and what made you realize that, and when did that happen?
It kind of happened by default, though, because I always wanted to score touchdowns. Everybody wants to score touchdowns.
Yeah.
And so when I got my scholarship to UConn, they was like, we kind of envisioned you as a defensive player, like in the safety or corner position. So I was like, all right, I could do that. And so when I got there, that's kind of how it all transitioned. I thought I was going to be able to play both ways, but obviously it doesn't work like that at that level unless you like this elite guy. So, I had to work my way into a role on defense, and then, I was content with that.
Yeah. But did you have moments growing up where you figured I kind of like this, as much as I want to score touchdowns, I kind of like being on this side of the ball too? Are there moments in games where it just gave you that rush where you're like, I could do this too?
Yeah, I was just always.
I imagine you went two ways, right, in high school?
Yeah, I was always just ultra competitive, man. So, whether it was breaking a tackle or making a tackle, I wanted to do both. You know what I mean? So it never was really one or the other. I never really liked one more than the other. I kind of just wanted to do both.
Yeah, and speaking on that, I mean, being that I was a few years younger than you, growing up, I mean, you went to school when my sister went, but she went to Liverpool. I remember hearing about you, and then Greg Paulus and all them guys when going out, Mike Hart going out of Michigan and everything. Y'all were I was like, I want to do that. I want to be that.
We had
Liverpool and everything.
We had a good run up there, man. We had a lot of good players up there, man. So, a lot of the young guys are starting to come around though, especially for basketball and stuff. We starting to do all right up there, man.
Yeah, we got Starling back from Notre Dame, thank God.
But
that's my question is was Syracuse on the radar when you were getting recruited?
Oh,
You want to hear something crazy? Like I did want to go to Syracuse. You know, I was a huge Donovan McNabb fan. It kind of was like that was my goal in life. You know what I mean? To get a scholarship from Syracuse, and then during the recruiting process, you know, they really wasn't trying to offer me until I committed to UConn, and then it kind of was like, you know, I was already in too deep.
Yeah. I just saw a highlight of you. I was just watching. I went on your Twitter and I saw the highlight back in I think it was 2008 when you broke the 98-yard touchdown. Can you take us through that? That.
That was cool, man. That's what I'm saying. Like I didn't get the chance to play running back in college, but I got the chance to touch the ball. So, I think what game was that? Was that the Rutgers game or the Akron game?
That was the Rutgers game.
I think Rutgers.
Oh man, that game was crazy, man. The atmosphere in the stadium was crazy. We was ranked. Rutgers was balling. That's when Ray Rice was running the ball out of control.
Yeah, he was nuts.
So you know, I had a real good game that game, man. I think I had set like a Big East record for return yards or something that game.
Yep.
So it was a good night, man. And to score in that atmosphere, you know, to have everybody in the stadium going wild, it was dope, man. It was a dope experience.
Mentioned you ended up picking UConn. What led to you picking UConn? Why did you decide to go there? And were there other schools? What other schools were looking at you?
I picked UConn because on my visit, I met my best friend Darius Butler. Me and him still best friends to this day. You know, I just kind of hit it off with all the players, and I kind of liked where UConn was heading. You know, the year I came in was the first year we was going to the Big East, so it was like I felt like all the stars was aligning for me to have a chance to play and play in a big program. And at the time, UConn was my biggest offer. I was kind of like, you know, they jumped on first and they see something in me. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna ride with them. And I almost went to, believe it or not, I almost went to Albany, the University of Albany, because they was gonna let me play both ways. So that was almost my move, but yeah, I ended up at UConn, man.
Is the DB hat? Is that for Darius Butler? Is that?
Yeah, that's my dog, man. Shout out to DB, man.
Got you. Okay, no, I like the hat I was feeling it. So you were saying like how the environment was real hype, or when you did the Rutgers game. I'm always curious of what artists or who did you listen to get hyped before games? Like, what was your go-to?
In college or the league?
Both. Yeah, I'm curious both actually.
Well, obviously, my favorite rapper of all time is Sean Maggs. Shout out to the little bro.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Syracuse Jones.
So I was always listening to something by him, and then in the league, my oh man, y'all gotta laugh at me, but my go-to song was "Mr. Rager" by Kid Cudi.
Okay.
I don't know what it was, but
that beat in the beginning is good though.
yeah. So it was just one of those songs that got me going, man. And then so that was like my hype song for a while, but it just was whatever songs was popping at the time. I just, you know, throw it on and get hype and go out there and make plays.
Since we're on the whole college experience thing, tell me what it was like walking into a college environment where the benchmark was set by a women's basketball team. What was that like?
Man. Don't do us like that, man. Hey, the men's team was good too at the time.
It was nice.
I
think the women are coming off of like almost 4 national championships in a row or something, right?
Yeah. So when I got there, they had just won men and women's. Omeka Okafor, Ben Gordon, and them, and then Diana Taurasi, and all of them. Yeah. So they was coming off the double whammy. So it was. I mean, I don't think they won at all when I was there though. That's the crazy thing. I
don't think they won, and that's fine. Yep.
Yeah. So, but they were still good. You know, they used to have Gamble Pavilion jumping, man, and it was definitely a dope experience, man. And then to see those guys in person. They look like mutants, man. You see these big old dudes. Have you ever seen Hashim Thabit in person? He's like 7'3". It's crazy. You look like a mutant, man.
I swore he was going to be good. I just got to put that out there. I swore Thabit was going to be good.
Those big men are always such a gamble.
You just never know, man. You gotta the NBA, just like the NFL, it's all about going into the right system,
right?
You know, and if they want to spend the time to develop you, you know what I mean. It's a microwave league. You got to give instant results.
you're going to Oakland, and again drafted by Oakland in the 4th round. Take us through that experience, and who was like your biggest mentor when you got there?
Yeah, when I got there, well, on the phone when they drafted me, they immediately told me, "You're coming here to play safety." You know what I mean? So the corner was out the window immediately. And then, when I got there, I had a lot of great guys, man. We had Nnamdi Asamoah, D'Angelo Hall, Michael Huff. We had all the top of the line DBs,
right.
man. I think we had the highest paid DB room in the NFL at the time. Jabril Wilson was there.
Wilson.
Yeah, he won the Super Bowl with the Giants. So it was a lot of good guys there, man. And D Hall and Michael Huff kind of took me under their wings. And Michael Huff's still like a big brother to me to this day. So me and him chop it up all the time. Shout out to him. Shout out to UT too, because he coaching up at Texas and they balling.
Yeah, they're doing well.
Yeah.
They're awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, man.
Did you play with Woodson or no? I thought you played a couple of years with him.
Yeah, I played with C Wood. He came later in my time out there in Oakland. I think he came. I was in like year 6 or 7.
Okay.
But yeah, shout out to C Wood too. That dude is. You want to talk about a great football mind, man? That dude is crazy, man. The plays he make and the way he does it, like, shout out to him, man. That's why he's one of the best of all time, you know?
You can see how he talks about the game too, man. The way he talks about the game is like his mind is on a different level.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, when you see him on the desk, you feel like he want to go out there and put the pads on when he's talking about Michigan. He's like, let's go, I got this.
The crazy thing about him too, man, he had the crazy football mind, but he had all the physical attributes. He was explosive. He can make all the plays, man. So he had the combo, man, and that's why he's HOF.
So correct me if I'm wrong. Your rookie year was the for some Raiders fans infamous Lane Kiffin beginning the start to the season. So take us through kind of from the locker room, from a player perspective. What was that time like? That was so like, because it always seems so like tumultuous between him and Al Davis.
We didn't really see that side of it, you know. Whatever they had going on was going on behind closed doors. But Lane Kiffin was he was a player's coach, man. He got you in there, you got your work done, he got you out of there. And I felt like he had us going in the right direction, but it wasn't the direction that Al wanted it going in, you know what I mean? So but he was a good coach, man. I thought he was a good coach. He's still doing well, obviously, coaching in the college level. So
yeah, for sure.
That goes to show he knew something, you know what I mean?
Yeah, so I was watching your highlights, and there was one particular one that caught my attention. I was trying to say his name right. It was when you tackled that big dude, Brandon Monty Uni, however you pronounce it.
Yeah.
Big 300
Tight end for the Chargers, right?
Yeah,
tight end for the Chargers?
Yeah, on the Chargers. You tackled.
That was a big dude, man. And I caught him when he wasn't looking, but you know what I mean? That's the secret.
You think he was the hardest player you ever had to tackle, like in your career?
Oh, nah.
So who do you think was the hardest?
Where you want me to start, man? Adrian Peterson, Darren Sproles. I don't know why I couldn't. He was tough for me, man. He was just so little, man.
I'm about to say so little.
Darren Sproles. The Jets used to have a running back named Sean Green.
Yep. Oh, I remember Sean Green.
I remember him. And
for some reason, every time I hit that dude, I was like, yeah. That's a heavy dude, man. Him. It's the list goes on forever, man. It's so many. It's the league, you know what I mean? Everybody's good, so it's a lot of good players, man.
Did you ever tackle Brandon Jacobs?
Oh yeah. We played against Brandon Jacobs. We played against them down in New York one year. Mm-hmm. He was tough. He was tough too. Yeah, he was He just was a big heavy
big dude. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Of the 3 teams you played for, tell us which locker room for you was the one you figured like this makes me really want to be here, and tell us what makes a locker room make a player feel that way.
I think Oakland was like, you know what I mean? But I was out there for so long. That was like the majority of my career. So,
right.
You know, I mean, I went from the young pup to the OG in the locker room.
Yeah.
So I got to grow out there, you know what I mean? So it's a little different. But Kansas City, you know, the culture out there was winning, you know what I mean? Like that's all they cared about was winning football. So, and then the Cardinals, when I got there, I was already OG, but I kind of got out there and made a lot of friendships, and you know, I vibe real good with a lot of guys. So, I mean, every locker room was cool. It's the league, so you ain't gonna really have too many.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Everybody check their ego in the locker room. They might have an ego with the coaches or something, but in the locker room, you know what I mean? Anything goes.
What was the honey badger out there when you were in Arizona?
Yeah. Shout out to my dog, man.
Was that kind of like you kind of took him under your wing in a sense? Like was he a youngin like when you were there, or he was kind of already established at that point?
He was already established. When I got out there, they made him the highest paid safety in the league when I got out there. So he was already well established when I got there.
Nice.
You were like, let me get a little bit of that.
Let me hold something.
What now? One more thing. Could you still at that point in your career were you still open to saying like I could still learn from someone like that? Yeah.
And you never stop learning. You know what I mean? That goes in every field. You know what I mean? You always can learn something new. And it's surprising, like some of the guys you learn from. You know what I mean? I remember when I was in Oakland, we had a young dude named TJ Carey come in, and he was doing stuff before practice, and I'm like, man. He was like doing all ankle mobility stuff, and I'm like, he had me out there doing it with him. So I took that and ran with it. So it was a lot of stuff that you surprised who you learn things from for sure. Everybody come in and they all had their own different coaching, and they kind of take what worked and brought it to the field, and you kind of take it from them. You know what I mean? So you always learning something.
Nice.
What's different from the league from when you were in it to now? It just seems like the league keeps evolutionizing. The guys are getting bigger, faster, stronger.
Yeah.
Like levels. Do you see that?
Yeah, for sure. Look at the linebackers and stuff now. They're like 220, 230. You know what I mean? That used to be the safety size back in the day. So, you know, the days of the big downhill players is over. You got to be able to cover. You got to be able to make plays in space. The big hitting is out of the league now. So, like, you know, a lot of guys made their claim to fame with big hits. So, you know, all that is out the league now. And now it's all about covering and stopping the pass game.
Just looking at the hits that are, I mean, we talk about it all the time, is that, you know, there's not really somewhere to hit now. It's like, I don't know if you saw the play on Nick Chubb the other night, and, you know, everyone's criticizing Minka, and it's like he has nowhere to go at this point.
Yeah.
You know, do you feel like that would be a tough transition for you, and especially the vets that were so used to hitting at a high level like they were?
Yeah, you know, when you see hits like that, you know the guy's not coming with ill intent. You know what I mean? It just happens to be a freak play because, you know, we all competitive, but we don't really want to hurt nobody. You might say, oh, I want to mess this guy up or something like that, but you don't really want to hurt nobody. You know what I mean? I know from experience that, like, you know, after you hurt somebody, you kind of feel messed up about it afterwards. So to see stuff like that, it's really no target, man. You know, if you're aiming at a guy, if you're hitting a guy in his midsection, it's a good chance he's probably gonna break that tackle. You know what I mean? So it's kind of one of those things, like, you damned if you do, damned if you don't. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like I was taught growing up, and I know you were too. It's like head to ball, shoulder to chest, and it's like that's what I was always taught. So like for me, it'd be like hard to kind of get that transition back into hitting. So that's why I was just wondering, like, you know, because Minka, you know, is a great player, and you know he's just trying to make a play on the ball. I don't even think he was trying to ill intent. So I appreciate you clarifying that and everything.
Yeah, for sure.
So with all the teams you played on over the course of your career, who's one player that you played with that no one will ever realize was as good as they were?
Ooh, good question. I played with some good football players, man.
You did too.
I'm trying to think of one that would stand out. You talking about pro or college?
Either.
We could start with college. We had a guy named Larry Taylor.
Okay.
He was like a return specialist. This dude was unreal. He was unreal. And then Jasper Howard, man, he was on trajectory to be a great football player, man. And his life got cut short. Rest in peace to him, man.
Yeah.
Then in the league, let me think. I don't know, man. I played with so many good players that I probably fly under the radar. We had a running back, Tyvon Jones. And I think if he would have ever got a chance to be a running back in the league, he could have been a star. Because this kid, he was so elusive and so fast. He's still in the league now. He's playing for the Giants. He's like a core special teamer.
Mm-hmm.
But when he got the ball in his hands, man, we used to see it in practice and preseason. I used to be like, man, if he ever get a shot to actually play running back, he could have been a star, man. Dang, I'm trying to think. That's a great question. I wish you asked that. I wish y'all had prepped me with that question.
We can come back to it. You
can think about it. And if you think of somebody, just
That's funny because I actually had the same. I had that question as one of mine too. I'm always curious to that. But speaking of teammates, I've seen you have some dance moves on some of like your sacks, some of your returns. I'm like, oh shoot, dude got a couple moves out there. But
I wouldn't necessarily say I'm proud of those moments. But
get the little beat cooking and all that out there.
Yeah.
But of all your like teammates through years, who was like the guy who was always like singing in the locker room or dancing? That was
Me.
Like, oh, this guy.
I was always that guy.
yeah.
It was who?
I said it was always me.
It was you. Okay.
Yeah.
It was always like who's singing and dancing.
Singing for sure. I didn't really dance as much, but singing for sure. We had a kid named Johnny Lee Higgins when I was in Oakland, and he was a real character, man.
Nice.
He was a funny dude. I played with a lot of funny dudes. Trying to think of the most dancingest dude. I don't know. Huff used to try to dance, but he was terrible. I don't know, man. Dancers, I don't know. It was always me singing and stuff, though.
Nice.
Okay.
Keeping it light.
All right, so
I'm one of those people. Listen, I'm one of those people. I really enjoy playing football.
Yeah.
Like a lot of guys do it because the perks that come with it, and obviously the money, the lifestyle, and all that. But I genuinely loved playing football, and my agent used to tell me like, you're gonna have a hard time when it's done because you love playing the game too much, man. And so like I always try to keep football fun and keep it light. Serious when I had to be, but
Right.
we was playing the game, man, and it was fun. So I enjoyed it.
Bro, I feel one of the telling signs of life is if you're singing while you're doing it. Like every time I'm out surfing, I'm singing. People are in conversation, I'm singing to myself, just patting the water. And it's like, man, this is why I love to be. I think that's one of the most telling signs you love where you are right now when you feel that joy come out in song. So you got the keys right now. You're a GM. You got one defensive player that's going to make your team the best team in the NFL. I knew you were going to say it. I was like, grew up a Cowboys fan. Hands down, like nobody else off the board right away. You're not even thinking about it.
Him, Myles Garrett. If I'm going secondary, Patrick Surtain. I think he's the real deal.
Okay.
You
think Sauce is too hyped, or you think he's a real deal?
I think Sauce is. I mean, at that level, if you too hyped, you doing something right. So like, you can't be too hyped in the league.
Yeah.
It's a lot of good football players right now. Fred Warner, I think he's one of the best inside linebackers. It's a lot of good players, man.
The entire San Francisco 49ers defensive line.
You pick your poison out there. Either one of the Bosa brothers.
Oh yeah, those are elite.
TJ Watt, Aaron Donald. I mean, you can't. There's a lot of good. Aaron Donald on obviously on the tail end of his dominance, but prime Aaron Donald. I don't.
Yeah, I think there's very few players that have won a Super Bowl from that side of the ball. I could say LT was one. You could say he's another, right? So that doesn't happen that often.
Von Miller single-handedly won the Super Bowl.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Poor Cam Newton. We've had this conversation many a times about each other.
I was so hyped for that because I wanted Cam to get his. I've been a Cam Newton fan since Auburn. I was like, I want him to get his, and then I saw that game. I was like, oh no! Welcome, Von Miller.
That was special. Watching that was special.
Oh man, that was incredible.
Yeah.
Now looking at there was a question that was asked to Derrick Henry, and I have a two-part question. So, what do you think about what Derrick Henry's doing as a running back, just like throwing these DBs all over the place?
That's another guy that's a mutant because he can run you over and then run right past you. Like his size and his speed and explosiveness is ridiculous, bro. And
Yeah.
like you see him pulling away from DBs that are fast. So like he's a special talent for sure.
Yeah, he's going to like other gears as you
Yeah,
see him.
yeah, absolutely. And then them strides he hit, man, he be out of there.
So he was asked a question on Bussin' with the Boys about the worst team in the NFL playing the best team in college. So at the time, it was Alabama. Do you think that Alabama team could compete, and at the time it was the Houston Texans, could compete with the guys on the NFL side? Like the Alabama team compete?
40-point blowout, easy.
Yeah. Okay. So he said the same answer. He said not even close.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It wouldn't even be close. And the crazy thing is the worst team in NFL could beat the best team in the NFL on any given Sunday. So
Yes.
it is, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, it happened last week to your Cowboys, right?
Oh yeah.
To your former team.
You know what? The Cardinals don't look as bad as everybody thought they were gonna look. Though.
They don't.
Yeah.
Not with Dobbs. Dobbs. I said
Dobbs
he's
is-
leading
Dobbs
the
is
way.
managing very nicely.
Yeah,
I mean,
he's
smart.
doing good, man.
People forgot how good James Conner is a very reliable running back. He's gonna get you his. He's gonna get his no matter what. So.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely.
I thought they were tanking for Caleb. I was shocked.
Yeah, no, me
Oh,
same
man.
here.
Knew Caleb Williams was going there.
Listen, one thing I know about the league, like the GMs and the coaches might have their own thing going, but the players is not tanking. We going out there every week to try to get a win.
Yeah. Is it tough being like when you know the season is not going your way? Is it tough to kind of just like, damn, it's like, you know, you're pushing it. It's hard, like you just said, you're pushing it for a win every single week, and it's just like you're coming up short or stuff like that. Does it weigh on you over time? Over the 16 games?
Absolutely. I dealt with that a lot in my career, so absolutely. And you know, after a loss, your shoulders hurt a little more, your knees hurt a little more. You know, you win, everything starts feeling good.
Yeah.
So, yeah, definitely winning cures all, man. So, if you're winning, life is good, your body feel good. You know, the food tastes a little better in the facility. Everything is just a little better when you're winning.
You know
Who
he's
is
gonna
the
stump
greatest basketball player of all time?
Oh,
Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Diana Taurasi,
I know who you say.
Breanna Stewart.
And this is who your thought is?
That we have to see who you would choose, right? We have to guess
this
yours.
is just the facts of the facts.
Who's the
Okay.
best?
Who's the best?
Oh, okay. So you said Kobe, right?
No, he said LeBron, Jordan, Diana, and Brianna.
Or Brianna.
Yeah.
Oof.
I got to meet Diana at the 2016 Olympics, and I was such a groupie fan. I was like, so nice to meet you, Lady Diana, Lady Di. Like, to me, Diana Taurasi was she's one of a kind, man. She's unbelievable, and she's maintained a level of play throughout her entire career, which is most like astounding to me. That she'll still go out there and dominate.
Man, when I was at UConn, we used to play against the women all the time, like the football players. And man, these girls play basketball, bro. Like it ain't like you see why they winning championships all the time, like and going on crazy win streaks. Them girls can play, man.
What was the next journey after next chapter for you after football? Like I know you said football, you couldn't imagine not playing it. You know, now that you're retired from it, what's next for you? Like, what's the next chapter for Tyvon here?
Man,
I see you living in sunny California.
I had me 2 beautiful children, man.
That's amazing.
And I get to spend a lot of time with them, and you know, they just starting school, so I'm just soaking up all the time I can with them. You know, obviously I started some companies and I made some investments and I got that part of life going, but you know, my dream job right now is being dad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what I love the most.
I can tell through your messages you were like, you know, my son's got practice this time and stuff, and I really respect that. And is it like, are you glad you kind of like waited until you were kind of done with your career to have so you could have this time?
Absolutely. I get to go to everything, man. You know, little stuff at school, like ice cream socials and stuff like that. I get to go to, you know what I mean? I get to take them to their friends' birthday parties and stuff. So it's cool, man. It's it's a cool job.
Yeah,
Nice follow up to a pro career, right?
Absolutely.
Are you gonna be the dad that's like going crazy, screaming at their games when they play ball?
No,
Or,
you
like,
ain't a
chill
helicopter.
dad?
Just say no.
Oh man, I'm Marv. Yeah, I don't know, man. You know, not so much screaming the whole game and all that, but like when big plays happen, I for sure get up and
Yeah.
get going. Yeah.
I tell you right now, you got to be like DeAndre Swift's dad. You see that dude? DeAndre Swift, the Eagles running back.
Oh yeah, and at the I didn't really see it. I seen clips of it.
Yeah, his dad is like, he looks like he can play outside linebacker.
Yeah. Yoki, super Yoki.
It's got to be you when your kids are playing. Are they gonna play football?
I don't know, man. If I got a son and if that's what he wants to do, you know, my daughter obviously, you know, but now I can't even say that because they got the women's flag leagues too. So
flag football scholarships and all kind of stuff going on, man.
It's So yeah, for sure. So we're gonna see, man. Whatever they want to do, I'm in. You know.
Yeah,
that's the reason I'm outside doing this interview too, because they in the house running around crazy. So I'm like, let me go outside, so it's a little more quiet.
Probably a good idea. Idea.
Yeah, well, I know Trey's boy. He said his friend runs a professional women's football league, right? Trey?
Yeah, up in Detroit, they got like 4. I think they got maybe 4 to 6 teams, but they got 2 up in Detroit, a couple in Tennessee. Because I'm speaking about having them come on. One of them, they do tackle though. Their helmets.
Oh, wow.
There's women.
Oh wow.
I saw
it's a full pad league.
They full pad.
I don't know about that.
I remember they used to have the LFL or something like that.
The lingerie football league.
The lingerie football league.
It started off as the lingerie football league, but they changed it to like the Legends football league or something like that.
Yeah.
But them girls used to get at it, man.
Oh yeah.
And they used to be out there with like a hockey mask on, not even like a real helmet.
Yeah.
I think that was like the prequel to pro wrestling. It's like, do this. Let's see if you can be in wrestling. You aggressive enough? Yes, come wrestle.
Yeah.
As the resident pro wrestling fan, I can tell you, I think there was at least a couple WWE signed out of the football league.
So we'll throw it over to Grandpa Jay and have him do it.
You see how they disrespect me, Ty? They call me Grandpa just because I got some hairs on them, man.
Oh man, that's
on the edges. All right, guys, you know how it is around there.
Now, so they're doing you dirty.
We reach our favorite time of the show, Stump the Squad. That's when we try and make each other try and, well, what we really do is pretend we don't know everything in sports just to make you guys feel great about yourselves. But we try and stump each other. You get +2 if you get it right, -2 if you get it wrong. Person who has the most points at the end wins for the week. We're going for that coveted prize when we get to show 100. Yours truly is on top right now by I don't know how many wins because I've lost count. But the boys are trying to catch up here. So this week, I'm going to kick it down to John down there in the corner because I think he has something he might stump us with. John, what you got?
Yes, sir. So I have a football question, of course. The New England Patriots were almost named what team?
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
They were always going to be New England.
Right.
Bay State Patriots, Boston Patriots, Massachusetts Patriots.
We'll go Boston.
I'm gonna go Boston too.
What was the one after? It was Bay State and what? What was the other one?
Massachusetts.
I'll go with Bay State.
Yeah.
Bay State just seems the most oddballish, so it kind of makes you want to go.
Yeah, it makes you want to go with it. I'm just gonna go with my gut. I'll go with Boston.
Alrighty, so I have successfully stumped everyone except Jamie. It was Bay State Patriots. Which is weird, right? Because they're on the ocean. So I don't understand that at all. So
Bay State, I think Oakland.
Right, exactly. I'm like, there's always Bay State. It's not
or Tampa Bay. Or Tampa Bay. I was like,
when I think of the Bay, I think about getting hyphy.
Yeah.
All right, Trey, go ahead.
Okay, so speaking of Oakland, Tyvon was drafted in 2008, but something happened the year before. 2007, the Raiders traded away Randy Moss, and all they received was a 4th-round pick. Who was the player that they selected with that 4th-round pick that year? I know the last. I feel like you're gonna know the answer. Yeah. Okay, so it was either John Bowie, Quinn Moses, Jay Richardson, or Mario Henderson.
Quentin.
Jamie's going Quentin.
One more time.
So I got John Bowie, Quinn Moses, Jay Richardson, or Mario Henderson.
Mario Henderson.
The first one.
Okay, so you're going Johnny. And then who do you got, Tyvon?
It's John.
Damn it.
Yeah, so
We don't even need an
Oh,
Good shot.
Tyvon, who is
They all were in
it?
the same draft, so that's why I was trying to throw a loop because they all were drafted by the Raiders that year. But I'm like, I wonder if you remember what order everybody got drafted in because they were. So yeah, Mike and Tyvon, you are correct today.
Dang, I misunderstood the assignment on this.
Yeah, you do
It's supposed to be a fact. It's supposed to be a fact based.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, so I'm gonna throw it to. Let's throw it to Mike. See what he got today.
Okay. I too, oddly enough, have a football question. How many current members of an NFL active roster or practice squad, so active roster or practice squad, went to UConn?
Oh, wow.
Is
So
it
are
2?
active?
Yeah, active roster or practice squad, but currently. Is it 2, 4, 6, or 8?
4.
I'm gonna say 6.
2.
That's 6.
I'm
Jay
going
says
4.
2.
Give me 2.
Trey says 4. Well, I have successfully stumped everyone except our resident UConn expert, Tyvon Branch.
Oh.
It is 6.
Nice.
One of which plays for the Giants, Matt Pert.
Nice.
All right, so score is Tyvon with 2, Trey with -4, Mike with 0, Jamie with -2, me with -4. So we got Jamie up next.
All right, so this is in no way just can keep it football right here. But Ty, I'm making this easy on you this time. We're not putting this on Ty's memory to try and recollect there. So since it was such a wonderful weekend of football for Colorado fans, the Broncos, of course, gave up the most points through the first 3 games of the NFL season. Can you guys tell me who was the previous team to give up the most points through the first 3 games of the NFL season? Was it the 1981 Baltimore Colts, the 1988 Lions, the 2008 Lions, or the 2023 New York Football Giants?
Oh my God, that sounds good because the Giants just gave up a bunch of points.
So we got the 81 Colts, the 88 Lions, the 2008 Lions, or the 2023 G-Men.
Through how many games you said?
The first 3.
2-3. I'm gonna go with 81 Colts.
I feel like it's the Lions because like the Lions in the 80s were like terrible and they were bad in 08. I'm gonna say 08 Lions.
I feel like this is either the right answer or he's just trolling me. So I'm going to go with, you said the 88 Lions?
Yeah.
I'm going to go with the 88 Lions.
I think I'm going to go with the 88 Lions too because they was pretty bad back then.
Okay, now I feel a little more confident with my answer because Tyvon has been right.
Because Tyvon just has confirmed every right answer on this show today. It's the 1988 Lions.
Yeah.
And how
Giants gave up a lot of points this season. I was almost on board.
The Giants are very close. If
I know through like the first
70, the Giants.
I know through like the first 6 quarters they gave up like the most points. It was like 66 or something crazy.
Yep.
Well, Tyvon is our winner at 4.
There you
4
go.
points. So put you on the big screen again. Bring down those dance moves.
We're still working on the dance moves.
Now, Tyvon,
I feel bad. Y'all got to bring me back on the show so I can come back with some better.
all right.
Yeah.
We'll
Welcome
Have you back.
Now, we usually give every guest a rant of the week, and basically it's a minute, whatever you want to do, just to shout out anything you're doing in the community, whatever you want to shout out.
I'm going to shout out a lot of people in Syracuse right now, man. Shout out to my boy Sharky. I love Mo, the Mo Gallery. He's doing well. Shout out to my boy D-Butt. He's killing it on the Pat McAfee show and the NFL matchup on ESPN. Shout out to my brother Sean Maggs. He's behind the camera now. He's shooting some great stuff. Eric Devendorf, Mike Poyer. Shout out to my boy Latavius Murray up there in Buffalo. Man, shout out to everybody, man. Shout out to everybody that's doing well in Syracuse and trying to make a change in the community, man. We need everybody right now. You know, it's tough up there. I wish I can get back out there more, but it is what it is, man. I love y'all. 315, stand up, baby.
Sir.
For the hometown.
Go Orange.
There you go.
Yes, sir.
Tyvon, thanks for joining us today. Good luck at the practice, and you know, we'll definitely have you back on here soon, maybe towards the end of the football season.
Yes, sir. Hit me up.
Alrighty. If we're ever in Cuse together, I'll hit you up.
All right, that's a bet.
Make sure you guys go out to fansidea.com. We got our jerseys here on tonight. They're great jerseys, great material, authentic, stitched, and everything. Get yourself 10% off with Cinco Squad 10. That's Cinco Squad 10. They got hockey, football, anything. Anything you want, Cinco Squad 10, and that's Fans Idea. Go to the link down in the description. And then also, we have a new affiliated partnership and a brand ambassadorship with SHANKIT Golf. SHANKIT Golf has some dope-ass polos, cool hats. I'll be rocking them here soon. My order's in the mail. But go ahead and get yourself 15% off with Cinco Squad. That's Cinco Squad. Not 15, but Cinco Squad. And get yourself 15% off. All right, fellas. So any final thoughts? We had a great show. Thank you again to Tyvon for coming on the show. Really appreciate it. And again, best of luck to him in his endeavors. And we're going to have him on again. So don't worry. We'll be on here for you guys. So ask any questions in the comments. We'll get them over to him. Any final thoughts heading into the weekend?
You know already. Liverpool, Tottenham. We're taking it. Liverpool, baby.
Go blue and go birds. And don't illegalize the tush push. Love the tush push. Tush push. Tush push.
No, we're not. We're not. No, we're not doing it. Notre Dame, please beat Duke because I would like you to stay in contention. It's college game day again. It didn't go as well last time. Almost, but not as well.
Yeah, that was tough.
Marcus Freeman, remember to count.
They have a thing in place now.
Bro, there's like 19 coaches on the sideline. Not one of them could have been like Coach called time.
I have already reconciled this. No.
Whatever, man. That's abysmal. That's awful.
Thank you for tuning in. We're looking forward to next week. Episode 79. Cinco Squad out.